Live from WRAL News Headquarters in Raleigh, your number one source for local news. WRAL News, coverage you can count on.
The showers and storms that were pushing through earlier this morning have mostly moved out, but we could see more here as we head into the holiday weekend. We're going to time it all out coming up.
The summer travel season is heating up with a record number of passengers screened at the nation's airports Thursday, and today is expected to be even busier.
And the Israeli military has recovered the bodies of 3 hostages, while some hope the discovery will reignite ceasefire talks.
Get our holiday weekend started. Scattered showers and storms are likely to resume late this afternoon. Will the holiday weekend be a washout? Good afternoon to you. I'm Jeff Hogan.
And I'm Michelle McConaughey in for Renee Chu. Thanks for joining us. Meteorologist Anthony Baglione is in the WRAL Severe Weather Center with a look at the timeline for our late day storms. Anthony.
Yeah, guys, and that's the big question about the washout. We are not looking at washout conditions the next couple of days. We're going to kind of go more in detail the next time we meet with that. But let's get us outside here this afternoon. We did see some showers and storms push through this morning. A lot of that coverage, though, has pushed toward the coast. We're left with a little bit of kind of leftover shower activity for most of us. No severe storms out there currently. We head up toward Roanoke Rapids, down I-95 toward Rocky Mountain. Very, very light coverage, and that's likely pushing up to the north and east currently. We head a little bit farther south there. You can see right around Newton Grove. This cell has just been sitting there. That may get closer to Goldsboro here as we head into the next probably 15 to 20 minutes or so. Other than that, a lot quieter than where we started the morning off at. In fact, we take a look at downtown. This is our Jimmy V's camera in downtown Raleigh. It's a beautiful shot. They were definitely dealing with some rainfall earlier. The roads were pretty damp, and now things look like they're quieting down. You can even see a little bit of sunshine trying to peek through. That will be what we go for through the rest of today. Partly cloudy skies and a chance of a few more showers and storms into this afternoon. Once some of that daytime heating gets going, there's 1 o'clock or so. We go through the afternoon, just some bubble up storms. We get into the evening and things really start to calm down. So this is by no means going to be a big system for us. If you're hitting the roads today, maybe toss the umbrella in the back of the car and you will be just fine here traveling out of the area. We get closer to 11 o'clock this evening, just a few clouds still lingering around. This is our update from the Storm Prediction Center south of the Triangle. They still do have us in a level 1 risk. I think that's a little bit overdone, but we'll watch what they see as we go through the rest of the today. 85 for us this afternoon, 87 as we get into our Saturday. Then, guys, 91 on Sunday. We're going to walk through, though, all of these rain chances you see on the board there coming up here in just a few minutes.
Good afternoon. I'm Chris Levingood in the WRAL Live Center because I know a lot of you are going to be headed to the airport for your Memorial Day weekend activities. So I wanted to show you a little bit about the misery map here from FLIDA. We're kind of showing you what things look like. Whereas about 6 hours ago, we were only seeing about, double-digit delays. We have entered triple-digit delay territory. New York seeing a lot of a bit of traffic there as well. You see that the red has been marked there. You can also see it in America's busiest airport, Atlanta International Airport. A lot of different places finally starting to see a little bit of red as more people are leaving, probably commuting, and again, headed out toward their Memorial Day activities.
All right, thanks, Chris. And travel through Charlotte could be a bit trickier this holiday weekend. Some workers at Charlotte Douglas International Airport went on strike yesterday. The 24-hour strike at the airport was done to, quote, demand an end to poverty wages and respect on the job. Charlotte Douglas is expecting to see more than 1 million passengers over this holiday weekend, kicking off what could be a record summer travel season for that airport.
Michelle, more than 38 million people are expected to hit the road for the holidays. Those are travel numbers for Memorial Day weekend that we haven't seen in 20 years. WRAL's Kelsey Coffey reports drivers are getting a break at the gas pump this holiday weekend.
Gas prices are nowhere near those record level numbers that we saw a couple of years ago. And gas here at this Exxon on Six Forks Road is $3.45 a gallon. That's just a little bit above the state average that AAA released earlier this morning. Today marks the start of one of the most popular weekends for folks to hit the road. 76% of Americans are expected to take a road trip between now and Labor Day weekend. This from a new Gas Buddy survey. There is good news for drivers throughout the summer. Gas prices are expected to drop between now and the 4th of July. If you're traveling out of state this weekend, shop around for the cheapest prices.
If you're headed out of the state, many in North Carolina know that if you head south into South Carolina, prices are generally 20 to 30 cents lower. So mind those state lines. Make sure to check an app like Gas Buddy or Google or Waze to know which side of the border to fill up.
If you want to find the cheapest prices in our area, just go to our website, WRAL.com, and search Fuel Tracker. Kelsey Coffey, WRAL News in Raleigh.
New information related to the arrest of a murder suspect who deputies found hiding in a tree line with face paint for camouflage. WRAL's Noah Klein is here in studio. Noah, the sheriff has related new information just as the suspect prepared to make his first court appearance.
Michelle, our crew was there when deputies found Brandon Earp. You see him coming out of the woods there. This was all developing yesterday. New in just the last 15 minutes, we've learned the sheriff's office put out this new release with some new details about their investigation. It says Earp is charged with killing his father, Charles. This all happened on Lyles Road. Authorities spent more than 4 hours searching for Earp using drones, dogs, and a highway patrol helicopter. The Nash County Sheriff tells WRAL News he believed Earp poured chemicals all over the house. Sheriff Keith Stone says he believes Earp was hallucinating and was trying to flee from aliens. Stone spoke to our Chelsea Donovan on scene as the investigation unfolded. He described what deputies found inside that house.
When we went in, they found a very large amount of odor from some type of chemicals spread all in the house. And as a further search of the house, they found some blood inside of the house. And in one of the rooms, they found one deceased individual, a male.
Again, that new update, that was Earp's father inside the house. Earp already set to appear in court today. Even before he was charged with this murder, Earp was charged just 5 days ago with larceny and B&E. He had bonded out already. His appearance today was supposed to be in Wilson County for a meth possession charge. We'll continue to follow this case as it develops. Michelle?
All right, Noah Klein live in studio. Thanks, Noah. And staying in Nash County, a man who was shot by a deputy is being treated at Wake Med. The sheriff says Juan Salazar was armed with a pizza cutter and confronted a deputy. This happened on US 64 and Bigwood Road near Spring Hope. Sergeant Miguel Salazar, no relation, is on administrative leave, which is standard. He was not injured.
The UN's top court has ordered Israel to halt its offensive immediately in Rafah and open the border for humanitarian assistance. The court also asked Israel to ensure access to UN fact-finding missions and investigative bodies to look into allegations of genocide. The country will have to submit a report within 1 month on progress related to those measures. Meanwhile, the Israeli military says it has recovered the bodies of 3 more hostages who were killed October 7th. This news comes as the CIA chief travels to Europe in a bid to revive ceasefire talks. NBC's Raf Sanchez reports from Tel Aviv.
The Israeli military says it has recovered the bodies of 3 more hostages from a tunnel in northern Gaza. That brings a total of 7 hostage bodies recovered in that area over the last week. Israel says 125 hostages remain in Gaza, of which 39 are confirmed to be dead, but many people here fear that the real number may be significantly higher. Among those 3 bodies recovered in the last 24 hours, one belongs to Orion Hernandez. He was a 30-year-old French-Mexican dual national, and he was killed at that Supernova Music Festival alongside his girlfriend, Shani Luke. Her body was recovered from that same area of northern Gaza last week. Now, an Israeli official tells NBC News that CIA Director Bill Burns is heading to Europe, potentially as early as today. He'll be meeting with the head of the Israeli spy agency, the Mossad, as well as the Prime Minister of Qatar. And the hope is to try to breathe new life into those stalled ceasefire negotiations. But we have seen this time and time again, the CIA Director flying to Europe, flying to the Middle East without a breakthrough in those talks. Raf Sanchez, NBC News, Tel Aviv.
Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu will join in on a joint session of Congress. Speaker of the House Mike Johnson made the announcement during his speech during an anniversary of Israel Independence event. It is unclear when Netanyahu will make that appearance. Johnson also boasted that Congress was able to come together to send aid to Israel.
I was proud that just days after the watershed attacks by Iran on Israel, Congress was able to finally come together and deliver billions in the Israel Security Supplemental Assistance Act. We did that together.
And Johnson also said that he would invite Netanyahu to the House regardless of whether Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer agreed to a joint invitation.
Tonight, Republican National Committee co-chair Laura Trump will be in Greensboro to speak. She'll be a featured speaker at the Old North State Dinner during the North Carolina GOP convention in Greensboro. Laura Trump is former President Donald Trump's daughter-in-law. She became co-chair of the party earlier this year, along with former North Carolina GOP Chairman Michael Whatley. The state GOP convention runs through Sunday. The chair of the Democratic National Committee will also be in North Carolina today. Jamie Harrison will speak and make stops at events in Greenville, Kinston, and Smithfield. The party says he'll be highlighting the stakes for rural voters in November.
Jeff, I want to bring our viewers into the WRAL Live Center for some breaking news within the past 9 minutes. The Carolina Hurricanes have announced that President and General Manager Don Waddell has resigned. Eric Tolsky is named the interim general manager. The press release says that the search has officially started for a permanent general manager. There's a little more information in it. I'll just get to some of the things that he said here. But Don Waddell said that he is grateful for the support he has received from so many loyal Caniacs. This organization is in strong, capable hands and well-positioned for the future. Now, you obviously have a lot of changes that are happening with the team, with some new players expected next season. Plus, you've got Rod Brindamore that's going to be staying a bit longer there. A lot of different changes now culminating with Don Waddell resigning.
Wow, that is some shocking news. Thanks, Chris. Well, people living at the Overture Chapel Hill community are doing something special for Memorial Day. Look at these photos of their field of honor that was dedicated yesterday. The community placed flags along Farrington Road near Highway 54, and one of the residents, who is a veteran, played taps. There are 200 flags. Many are dedicated to fallen service members. They'll be on display through the weekend. And today, the state's Principal of the Year will be named during a ceremony in Cary. The event gets started in less than 30 minutes at the Umstead Hotel. There are 9 finalists for this honor, representing school districts from across the state. The winner will travel the state during the next school year as an ambassador for education.
And they have regions that they do that by picking the 9, so we'll have one from our region that's in the running. Next at noon, meantime, fewer than half of all adults in the U.S. know the true meaning behind this holiday weekend. So we'll explain what Memorial Day is really all about.
Also, Hurricane Katrina twins are now all grown up. The story of their rescue and survival and how they are thriving today.
Keep watching WRAL News over the air Channel 34 and Spectrum Channel 1257.
Gather with friends and family this holiday weekend. It's important to remember the reason that we're celebrating Memorial Day. A new USAA survey reveals that less than half of U.S. adults understand the true meaning of the holiday. Steve Herang explains there's much more behind the day than just cookouts.
As Americans gather with friends and family this holiday weekend, it's important to remember the reason we celebrate Memorial Day.
It's an opportunity to really honor and remember those who paid the ultimate sacrifice.
Still, a new USAA survey reveals that less than half of American adults understand the true meaning of the holiday. The survey also shows 45% of respondents think an appropriate way to observe Memorial Day is to wish a veteran happy Memorial Day and thank them for their service, a tradition reserved for Veterans Day in November.
What I would rather the American people do is fully understand that today isn't about celebrating the living. It is about honoring those who gave their life for this country.
Retired Army Major General John Richardson says the ultimate sacrifice made by more than 600,000 service members since World War I afforded us the freedom to spend Memorial Day weekend kicking off summer. But he says it's important to take the time to remember those who died.
It could be flying your flag at half-staff, visiting a national cemetery, or even your local war memorial.
One of those memorials is the USAA Poppy Wall in Washington, D.C., with one poppy, the international symbol of remembrance, representing each lost military member.
If we can remember one or two of our fellow Americans across this country, that will be impactful, especially for the Gold Star families.
That was Steve Harrigan reporting. A moment of silence honoring fallen service members will be held at 3 p.m. on Monday.
Speaking of those flags, more than 250,000 American flags are now on display at Arlington National Cemetery. Nearly 1,600 military members put those flags in place yesterday in just over 4 hours' time. They are placed near the headstones of thousands of fallen service members. The flags will remain at the cemetery through Memorial Day. U.S. defense officials say a new American stealth bomber is on track to be deployed by next spring. The B-21 Raider is the first American bomber released in more than 30 years. It's a long-range strike bomber capable of carrying nuclear weapons. The B-21 will replace the military's current B-1 and B-2 models. This is one of 6 in production.
In August of 2005, Hurricane Katrina struck New Orleans and parts of Mississippi, causing widespread deaths and catastrophic flooding. Extreme flooding defeated many of the levees surrounding the city, flooding streets and killed nearly 1,400 people. And among the survivors, twin boys, just babies at the time, and their mother. Alexandria Wheeler needed to find help for her 6.5-month-old sons, so she waded through the water. And when the trio finally made it to the convention center, that's where she met Lieutenant General Russell Honore. The twins, now thriving, just graduated and wanted to honor the compassionate commander who saved their lives.
And thanks to you, I'll be a future addition to the United States Marine Corps.
Hoorah! You got to learn how to say that word, hoorah.
I would like to thank you so much for your bravery and your help that I was able to survive. I'm going to college to do automotive engineering.
It's amazing. This will be the first time the twins will not be living together. They say they will take the lessons they learned from Lieutenant General Honore and hold them close to their heart.
Present day terrible weather. At least 3 homes were destroyed by violent weather in Oklahoma overnight. A significant tornado was caught on camera as it touched down Thursday in a small town called Duke, Oklahoma. It's in the southwest corner of the state. The nearby town of McKnight was pummeled by hailstones, and they were the size of tennis balls there. A gustnado was caught on camera moving through Hollis. Fortunately, that area is mostly rural. No reports of deaths or injuries.
Just incredible to see that it looks fake. And we've seen these storms roll through parts of those areas.
We've had a terrible time there.
Yeah.
No doubt. Anthony Baglione is over in the WRAL Severe Weather Center with what we're up against here this afternoon.
Yeah, thankfully our weather is going to be pretty quiet overall for the next couple of hours, but we've been watching just a really bad severe weather season out in that part of the country. Last night, even folks out in Iowa, where they had a tornado in Greenfield, Iowa, that was rated an EF4, they had more tornado warnings that also came out this morning. So just incredible out there. Where we sit currently back here at home, we have a few light showers showing up there right around Goldsboro. A lot of this is certainly not going to be severe criteria for us today. It's just more inconvenient sprinkles or some light showers. Right down I-95 there in Roanoke Rapids, we're watching some of that. For the majority of our viewing area, though, compared to where we were this morning, we are a lot quieter. We take you closer here to Newton Grove. This cell is pushing mainly to the north and east. There's a little one that's trying to develop once again right there to the northwest of Four Oaks. That's going to probably hang in that area for a little while. It goes to show you just some pretty spotty coverage overall for us, and we are dry for a large chunk of us. There's our White Lake camera. A boat, I'm thinking, would be a great place to be this afternoon if we don't have the lightning and the storm activity. We'll keep watching that for you. 77, though, for us across the triangle. It is starting to warm up nicely for us. We're at 82 in Clinton, 80 in Fayetteville, right about 72 in Roxborough, upper 70s for the majority of us, and low 80s. So it will still be a warm one today. We hit 92 yesterday. I don't think we'll quite get there today. Still about 85, but we'll call it warm overall. 87 tomorrow, 91 on Sunday. We go to 89 on our Monday. I'm going to leave this graphic up here for a second because, of course, you see those percentages and you think, oh, is it going to rain on my plans here the next couple days? What I want to say, though, is on Sunday, the majority of the day looks dry at this point. There's a chance into the afternoon and evening where we could see a few thunderstorms. Monday, though, is trending wetter into the afternoon and evening. We'll talk more about that here in just a second, but let's start with today. Here's a look at futurecasts going through the next couple of hours. If you're headed to the coast, it may be a little bit more active. You see some of those cells, they may be a little bit stronger east of our viewing area. There's 5 o'clock, though. I'll pause this. You can see if you're hitting the roads, there could be a few spotty storms east of the triangle. It starts to relax, though, as we get into tonight. 8 o'clock, you should be just fine if you are heading out of the area. Again, heading toward the coast, there could be a couple issues, but I don't think it's going to be enough to really slow everybody down and have some big-time issues in that regard. We still have this level 1 risk, though, of some strong to severe storms, including Fayetteville. It would not surprise me if they trim this out of our area here when we get this next update, probably within the next 10 or 15 minutes or so. But for the majority majority of us, we're looking at just that chance of some isolated spotty storms. Some of those may have some gusty winds, some lightning like we saw this morning. It is not a big time severe threat. We go tomorrow, very similar story. We are not under any severe risk tomorrow. We'll start off calm. We get some cloud cover, some sunshine peeking through. During the afternoon, there could be some of these light areas of rain that try and push in. A lot of this may stay for a place like Fayetteville, for instance, but just some scattered showers and storms, and that continues through this weekend. No day, though, is a totally plan canceling kind of rainfall that's coming down, which is pretty good. We go to 85 today, 87 on our Saturday, 91 on Sunday. And then, guys, if you like the lower humidity behind a cold front, Thursday is looking beautiful with highs in the upper 70s. It should be a very nice forecast here after this weekend where we're a little bit unsettled.
All right, thanks, Anthony. Coming up today on WRAL News at 4, the NCAA and the 5 biggest conferences, including the ACC, they've agreed to a settlement that paves the way for student athletes to get paid. We'll have a closer look into how that might actually work.
And then at 5 p.m., a roach was spotted near the fryer station of a Raleigh restaurant. 5 on Your Side shares that and other health code violations inspectors found in this week's restaurant ratings. And a new report shows only 65% of people give their diets a chance. Coming up, how inflation could be impacting the quality and quantity of food we buy.
And the number of people with million-dollar 401k accounts surged in the first quarter of the year. We'll break down how you can increase your retirement savings. Welcome back. We're taking a look at live at Chapel Hill. A live look there. It is sunny and nice. You're watching WRAL News, available on YouTube TV and the WRAL app on your TV or streaming device.
Inflation is still keeping a tight grip on the nation, with higher than average food prices eating a hole through many wallets. Chanley Painter takes a closer look at new research highlighting how it could be affecting our diets.
For many Americans, trips to the grocery store can be a trying time amid ongoing inflation.
I want to ensure that I can feed the kids for a reasonable price.
It's something the latest Consumer Food Insights report from Purdue University is shining a spotlight on, with researchers studying how Americans feel about their diets.
We find 65% of consumers give them their diets really high scores, between a score of 7 and 10.
But officials say that's down about 4% from a year ago.
We have slightly fewer people telling us that their diets are thriving, slightly more people telling us that their diets are suffering relative to a year ago.
The data is leading researchers to suggest,
despite spending more, they may be making sacrifices in terms of the quantity and quality of the foods that they're purchasing.
And this could create larger gaps in people's diets. For instance, the National Institutes of Health already reports most Americans aren't eating enough fiber. For those looking for added benefits from what they consume, scientists say a growing number of shoppers are pivoting to what's called functional sodas.
A functional soda is any kind of carbonated beverage format that we add something to for the purpose usually of improving health, increase things like fiber content.
That was Chanley Painter reporting, and in an effort to win back customers.
Shot in 4K ultra high definition, your number one source for local news. WRAL News, coverage you can count on.
Governor Roy Cooper is now in Europe for a week-long economic development trip. Over the next 8 days, Cooper will meet with executives and officials in France, Germany, and Switzerland. The conversations will focus on biotech, aerospace, and clean energy sectors. The state is trying to replicate the success of other international recruiting trips and bring jobs to North Carolina. And the city of Durham paid $37,000 for R&B singer Monica to perform at the Bimbe Festival. She did not perform because Monica says she was never made aware of the booking. And now city leaders are trying to figure out where it all went wrong. City leaders say they worked with an agent that they've known for years, and they paid him a $20,000 deposit, then 2 additional payments of $8,500 each in March and April. The agent, Chris Weeks, sent WRAL a statement saying, "I had a contract for Monica to perform through one of her booking agents. She didn't perform, and the fees are due back today. Once received, I will return it to the city and put this unfortunate incident to rest."
Some members of Congress are once again voicing concerns about the air quality on airplanes. Connor Hansen explains the bipartisan effort to make sure the air people on board, as well as crew members, breathe is safe.
When an estimated 3.5 million passengers board a plane this holiday weekend, there's a safety concern they might not have thought about. But a bipartisan group of lawmakers says the air quality inside the cabin could damage your health.
What a lot of folks don't know is that because of obsolete, flawed bleed air systems in almost all commercial aircraft, these passengers and flight crews are being exposed to dangerous engine fumes and toxic chemicals.
Congressman Maxwell Frost says most airplanes take in the air people breathe through their engines. That means it can be contaminated with oil and hydraulic fluid. Members of Congress were joined by flight attendants who work in the conditions every day. Some say they've had lasting health issues.
This is wrong, and change needs to happen. I'm tired of being poisoned. I just want to go to work and make my money and have my career. I should never, ever have to be worried about being poisoned in my workplace, period.
People have reported chronic health issues, dizziness, vomiting, difficulty breathing, irregular heart rates, and memory loss. The Safe Air on Airplanes Act aims to force manufacturers to start changing the air systems on new and existing planes.
Many pilots and flight attendants have left the industry due to these adverse health effects, at a time when pilot shortages remain a concern both domestically and globally.
That's Connor Hansen reporting. Sponsors of the bill say fume events are reported to the FAA 5 times a day.
I'm Chris Levingood here in the WRAL Live Center, still following a story that broke about an hour and a half ago. Documentary filmmaker Morgan Spurlock has reportedly died at the age of 53 from complications of cancer. You may recall that he made the film Super Size Me and The Greatest Movie Ever Sold. Now, his brother said in a statement, quote, Morgan gave so much through his art ideas and generosity. Today, the world lost a true creative genius and a special man. Super Size Me, as you know, is that documentary where he would eat McDonald's 3 times a day to show the effect on the body over the course of 30 days. And that documentary came out 20 years ago, this past May 7th.
Some sad news. Thanks, Chris. Well, back to that breaking news related to the Carolina Hurricanes. The franchise president and general manager has resigned.
Yeah, Canes shared this on social media less than 20 minutes ago, and WRAL's Luis Fernandez is here now with us. Luis, I think to the average fan, this comes as a shock to them. The story's still developing.
Yeah, last time we saw Don Waddell, he was sitting at a press conference introducing Rod Brindamore with that new extension that he just got. We actually have a statement from Don Waddell here. He said earlier this morning, I spoke with Tom, and Tom Dundon, that is, the owner of the Hurricanes, informed him that I have come to the decision that now is the time for me to move to the next chapter of my career. I loved my experiences in the Triangle over the past 10 years, and together with a strong team on and off the ice, we have accomplished many great victories. I'm grateful for the support I have received from so many loyal Caniacs. This organization is in strong, capable hands and well positioned for the future. Speaking of that future and its positioning, Eric Tolsky will be the one taking over as the interim general manager for the Canes as they begin a search. Some information about Tolsky for those of you who don't know. He joined the Canes in 2014 as a consultant. He's focused a lot on the analytics side of hockey. He has a BA in chemistry and physics from Harvard, as well as a PhD in chemistry from Cal Berkeley. So it's going to be interesting to see what the Canes do moving forward. One thing about the Hurricanes general management, for example, with this, both Eric Tolsky as well as Darren York, who will be supporting him in those managerial roles, they've played large roles in what the Hurricanes have done over the past few years, from player negotiations, the player personnel decisions. But Don Waddell has done a lot for the Hurricanes over the past 10 years. It will be a hard void to fill now that he is moving on.
All right, well, we're going to see what happens here moving forward, and there won't be any timeline just yet because this is all just brand new. Luis Fernandez, thanks for that info to this point.
The school year is wrapping up with a bang for students at Leadmine Elementary. Raleigh's own Carpool Casanova threw a big ice cream party at the school for winning the Pink Plaque School Spirit Award.
Let's go, baby.
Yeah, it was a party. The Carpool Casanova, also known as Brian Lord, the co-host of Mix Mornings with Kyle, Brian, and Sarah on Mix 101.5. They were all on hand for the big celebration this morning. As the Carpool Casanova, he visits schools to sing and entertain those waiting in the carpool line. Well, Sunday is one of the most exciting days in racing, with the best motorsports has to offer all day long. You can catch the Indy 500 on WRAL. It gets started at 12:30 on Sunday afternoon. And after that, NASCAR's Coca-Cola 600 gets started at the Charlotte Motor Speedway. Coverage will get started at 6 o'clock on Fox 50.
Taking care of their mental health and slowing down, how a career in farming is helping veterans.
And a heartwarming story of a friendship born from loud music, how the two ended their school year on a high note. And for news, traffic, and weather of the day, make sure to download the WRAL News app.
Memorial Day weekend signals the opening day for a lot of swimming pools out there. It's also a busy weekend for family events in the Triangle.
Yeah, let's take a look at some of the best bets from WRAL's Out and About. The first Fruits Farm Memorial Balloon Festival is happening Saturday and Sunday in Lewisburg. The annual event will include a 5K, live music, balloon glows, and fireworks. Parking is $15. Admission is $15 for anyone over the age of 12.
The Lion King is on stage at the Durham Performing Arts Center. It is the classic Disney story with additional songs. This weekend there are two performances, Saturday and Sunday. Some tickets are still available. The show runs through June 9th.
And there are two food truck festivals happening this weekend as well. On Saturday, Durham Central Park is hosting the Taste of Soul and Sea event. It's happening from 3 to 8 p.m. And on Sunday, enjoy some sweet treats during the NC Sugar Rush. That's in downtown Raleigh City Plaza from noon to 7. And for more about these and other events happening this weekend, go to WRAL.com and search Out and About.
All right, get this. A buyer paid $100,000 for property in California and is now looking to unload it. There's a catch to this. The land is all underwater.
And some veterans are finding new purpose on the farm. How a program is changing lives, one harvest at a time. Welcome back as you take a beautiful look at Pinehurst on your Friday afternoon. Look at the beautiful clouds in the sky. Sunshine now, but that could change later today and this weekend. Meteorologist Anthony Baglione has your forecast coming up. And after leaving the military, some veterans are starting new careers as farmers. A program in Denver, Colorado is teaching vets how to use skills learned while in service to help them build their own business. Kennedy Hayes explains how the program works.
Deke Letson served 10 years in the Army, including 2 deployments in Iraq, where he says he suffered a traumatic brain injury. 5 years after the Army honorably discharged him, he started having flashbacks and found out he had delayed onset PTSD. Doctors' advice led him to the Veterans to Farmers program.
This is so much more than just farming. It's taking care of your mental health. It's slowing down.
We tend to think of, some guy on a tractor in the middle of a field. And that is, in fact, farming, but it's only one very small avenue.
Business and farming education classes teach veterans about more than 200 careers in agriculture, like production farming and greenhouse technicians. The USDA started tracking how many military service members work in agriculture production in 2017. The most recent census from 2022 found 9% of the country's 3.4 million farmers served in the U.S. military. The program ultimately prepares veterans to start managing their own land full of fruits, vegetables, or even bees.
You have to make sure all your zippers are zipped up, your flaps are down. If not, a bee will get in and sting you.
Jason Ginhart is an alum of the program. He says his job, taking care of bees, gives him purpose.
I'm 100% disabled, veteran and medically retired police officer, so I can't really hold down a regular job anymore.
And he's not alone. Veterans tell me the program's teamwork mindset reminds them of their service in the military.
When I got out of the Navy, I never talked about the military. When I went through this program, I realized that being around veterans and veterans who wanted to farm and garden was a missing part of me.
That was Kennedy Hayes reporting. Veterans make $15 an hour, and the program only accepts about 10 veterans per year and is funded by grants.
House hunting can be a nightmare, but in Alameda, California, one property is hitting the market for only a couple $100,000. There's a catch to it. It's entirely underwater. The owner bought it sight unseen at an auction and was unaware it was actually a lagoon. Now he wants to sell it for half the cost of California's median price. The realtor says whoever buys it will have to get special approvals and permits before they can actually build.
This is unique to me. This is the first time I've come across something like this. I've had some unusual properties in my career, but this was a first.
The current owner purchased that property in March of 2023 for just over $100,000.
Is now trying to sell it for $400,000, which is not bad for California.
Right.
But it's underwater.
You don't buy sight unseen. I mean, I guess that's the first thing. You don't have to build on stilts. You're not going to get flood insurance.
Yeah, exactly. All right, let's get over to meteorologist Anthony Baglione. He has a beautiful look over Warrenton. I mean, we saw some rain move in this morning. It's moved out, but we're not out of the woods yet.
We're not quite there yet. It's going to be kind of a pattern like we would see during the heart of the summer, where we get some bubble up storms, they fizzle out pretty quickly, and not a big deal as far as a lot of rainfall, a lot of impacts. But if you get under it, it could be a little bit inconvenient. So we're going to talk about that. We get us outside, though, a really nice shot there. Our Warrenton camera, it almost looks like a postcard there in the distance. Roads are nice and dry there. There were some that definitely were a bit damp here earlier this morning if you were up and at them early. Where we sit currently on the map, yes, there are a few areas, very limited coverage, but you notice there's a thunderstorm out of our viewing area. A couple pockets where it's pretty spotty. We get closer to Rocky Mount, east of Roanoke Rapids. This would be very light coverage if anything's coming down right there. This little band may get closer to Rocky Mount, even Wilson, over the next couple of minutes. That's not going to amount to much for us. And we get a little bit closer to Newton Grove, where we did have some pushing through. This has since worked its way closer to Goldsboro. That's going to push out of our viewing area here as we go through this afternoon. So it goes to show you, we'll see pockets where it gets a little bit heavier, pockets where it starts to lighten up. It's by no means a big time rainmaker for us this afternoon. Upper 70s and low 80s is currently where we sit. 82 degrees. Good afternoon to you in Clinton. It's going to be a humid one for us though the next couple days, especially I think Sunday and Monday. Looking at Memorial Day, our dew points get up into the 70s, which of course we talk about the dew points a lot in the summer. It's that measure of moisture in the air. When they get above about 60, you start to feel humidity. 70 is getting close to that tropical category. So I think we'll really start to feel that on Memorial Day. Here's a look at Futurecast though. Notice here a couple things to point out on this map, especially toward the coast. I think that would be a greater potential to see some strong to severe storms this afternoon. We're outlined at least south of the triangle for level 1 severe risk, but you notice those pinks showing up, some of those stronger storms. We all have that chance at least for some bubble up showers, some activity there. 8 o'clock this evening, things start to quiet down. I think still along the coast, we could still be a little bit active. By 11 o'clock, let's say you're hitting the road late or flying or something like that, you should be okay. Here's the latest severe risk from the Storm Prediction Center. No big tweaks or changes to that. You can see it still does not include the triangle. It would be for our southern counties, Goldsboro, Fayetteville, especially as you head toward, let's say, Wilmington, I think is a greater potential of some gusty winds and maybe some very small hail. But that overall threat remains pretty low, so not going to be a big deal for us this afternoon. We take you here to tomorrow morning. There's our Saturday, starting off some more cloud cover to the east and then some more sunshine the farther west you go. We may still see a very similar story to what we're expecting today, just some bubble up storms during the afternoon. Futurecast not too adamant about that during the first half of the day at least. We get to 4 o'clock, there we start to see some bubbling up and then they fizzle out pretty quickly. So that's what we're looking at here the next couple days. A lot of dry time, I think, overall, especially Sunday. Sunday looks like a decent day to get outside. It will be hot though, 91, head to the pool if you can. We're going to be talking temps on Monday still in the upper 80s. Scattered showers and storms though may be a bit more likely into Memorial Day afternoon into the evening. So keep checking back on that. 87 Saturday, 91 on Sunday. We go to 89 on Monday and then a beautiful stretch, guys. Look at those temperatures. We're in the 70s by the time we get to Thursday and it comes with less humidity, which will be good.
We'll take that. Thanks, Anthony. A Cincinnati photographer's photo shoot goes viral for the baby's adorable but grumpy expressions. We'll share some of the hilarious captions on Facebook.
We'll bring you back this noon. Might be a little windy. I don't know. That is a live look right now. Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. They were talking about cheaper gas prices in South Carolina. Folks flocking down there for that. And looks like it's partly sunny.
Yeah, it's a party. Wow, a lot of people. All right, well, as we wrap things up, here's a look at a few of the headlines we're following today.
Carolina Hurricanes general manager Don Waddell has resigned. The announcement was made on social media just after noon. In a statement, Waddell said it's time for him to move on. He said the team is strong and he's grateful for the support over the past 10 years. Eric Tulsky was named interim GM.
And new information related to Nash County murder. The sheriff says that Brandon Earp is charged with killing his 63-year-old father, Charles. Investigators say that Earp poured chemicals all over the home and in the yard before leaving. Deputies found him hiding in a tree line nearby with paint on his face. The sheriff says that he believes Earp was hallucinating, as Earp told deputies that he was trying to flee from aliens.
Governor Roy Cooper and state commerce leaders are in Europe today to kick off a series of meetings that could result in new jobs here in North Carolina. During the week-long trip, this delegation will meet with more than a dozen companies in France, Germany, and Switzerland. The governor says many of them have already been discussing possible expansion to our state, and maybe an in-person visit will seal the deal.
Two middle schoolers formed a bond at the beginning of the school year with loud music and headphones, and now they're ending the year on a high note. Raken Evans warned Nate Weggitz to turn down the volume in his headphones so he wouldn't get caught, and a friendship was born. Evans has a condition that has left him in a wheelchair his entire life, but Nate didn't mind. The pair decided to end the school year by participating in the running of the Colts race, and they ran into some issues, but Nate was right by his side the entire way, even giving him a well-deserved lift.
It's all about like teamwork and friendship when it comes to stuff like this. And luckily I have super good friends that will help me with anything I need.
Oh, it's so sweet. Although they did not finish in first place, they received medals for their participation, ending the school year with plenty of memories.
A Cincinnati photographer has been capturing photos of newborns for a decade, but a recent client is going viral on social media. The owner of Drawing in Light Photography says she has photographed hundreds of babies who have given her tons of great expressions, but none compares to the looks this sweet little guy threw her way. Oh my, look at this. People just couldn't resist writing comments, and a few of the hilarious captions we found. He's sick of our mess. And how about, this baby told us to get off his lawn. And the face you make when you're having a perfectly great Friday and then realize it's only Tuesday.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, his mom said this is his face all the time. So this isn't shocking to her, but obviously to the internet, everybody loved this and thought it was hilarious.
I was going to say, check the diaper maybe?
I know, right? Something's going on.
Something's happening with that. But yeah, he doesn't look happy, but apparently he is a happy, sweet guy.
And he's so cute. All right, between algae blooms and rip currents, there is a good bit to watch out for if you're hanging out by the water this weekend.
Yeah, there'll be lots of folks headed out to these types of places. Up next, what parents should know before hitting the pool, beach, or the lake. That is on our next edition of WRAL News later today.
And NBC News Daily, that is coming up next on WRAL. We'll have your next local news update in the next 30 minutes.
You can get breaking news updates anytime with our WRAL News app. Have a safe holiday weekend. Have a great day.
Keep watching WRAL News over the air Channel 34 and Spectrum Channel 1257.